Hello everyone, this is Korth Landwalker, and this afternoon, it's time to do a little bit of flying in Star Citizen. Let's get right down to it, shall we? The 3.16.1 patch has landed. It doesn't actually mean a whole lot has actually changed. The bad news, however, is when a patch lands, you find yourself having to do a number of things all over again. I'm here at Port Olisar, my primary station of choice, and this is going to require a little bit of explanation. Let's bring up the Mobi-Glass, and we're going to look at the Delphi app on it, which gives you an idea of your general reputation. Generally, they're tracking how they feel about you. The higher their reputation, the more benefits you might be able to get. For example, we've got Blackjack at the top here. And if I get myself to the tracker reputation, I'll get 5% bonus pay for any mission they give out. All well and good, right? But more to the point, we have the Bounty Hunters Guild. And they're the ones who open the way to getting the various certificates in the game. I really hope that didn't just pop up on my screen on the stream. Sorry, I had one of those NVIDIA overlay things pop up here, and that distracted me for a second. That usually comes up way earlier. At any rate, each rank you get up on the chain here, you open up the permits to go after bigger, better, badder targets. Again, well and good. And the best news, as you can tell from all the filled bars here, is that reputation persists throughout patches, usually. If they do a full wipe, well, there's nothing you can do about that. But usually, a patch is going to leave reputation alone. That's great. I don't have to do all this all over again. Kind of. The truth is, I do have to do some of it all over again, because while I keep my reputation, I lose the licenses. So I've got to go out and do missions to get recertified. So, that explains my cleverly named title of Recertification Rally. When we open up the contracts, you'll see right now that I have, well, almost nothing available here. I've got my very low risk threat certification, but apparently we don't have any of those guys out right now. But what we do have are a couple trial contracts. One will allow me, okay, we've got a few of those actually. A number of them. This is the one I'm paying attention to. Crusader Security, because it's right here. And we're going to do some of these contracts as we go along. Hey, Cap, took you the better part of the day. Think you can do it in half of that? Could be. Could be. We'll find out. Hope things are going well with you, Cap. We're going to grab the Crusader Security one because, well, hey, I'm a Crusader. Why not do that first? Now, what'll be interesting is that some of these bounties might take me to one of the few bits of new content to come in the game. Derelict freighters, which apparently have all sorts of new interesting features to them. And if we happen to come across one, we'll probably check it out. In fact, because of that, it's probably a good idea if I, at the very least, grab myself a multi-tool and a tractor beam attachment. I have no idea if that actually took. Yeah, there we go. Wow, who'd have thunk it? My advice is take all I can and try to find the ones that are geographically co-located. Where's the fun in that? My plan is basically, as I take each of the level certifications, the LRT, MRT, HRTs, and all those, I'll go to whatever location they have them, and while I'm there, I will also take their regional bounty unlock as well. So that way, I can at least knock down 2 for the price of 1. Right now, we've got something in Hurston, so we're going to hold off on that because I'm right here, right now, and there's a contract right here, right now, waiting for me. And right here and now, we're going to take the Anvil Super Hornet to do these bounties. These low-level bounties, it's really overkill. But there's no kill like overkill. More to the point, though, it'll also make pretty quick work of medium-risk threats and even high-risk threats. When I get to the point of doing the extreme level threats, I'll break out the Crusader Ion, because that will have the better chance of being able to blow up hammerheads than anything else I have, at least the way I fly. This may come as a surprise to a number of people, but I'm not all that great a pilot. I do okay. I only make it look good because I'm flying against AI opponents who, quite honestly, are not the greatest in the world. That said, if you're flying an arrow against a hammerhead, even a decent pilot is going to have a hard time. A good pilot will probably be able to take it, but I'm not in that category. Okay, now I've got a group of energy weapons and a group of ballistic weapons on here. And apparently my ballistics are on on the wrong mouse button as far as I'm concerned, but that's the way it's going to be. Hammerheads were kicking your butt. Wish you better success. Yeah, and that is another one of the changes that came with this patch. I can usually handle hammerheads, but that was before this patch, because apparently shield regeneration timing has been monkeyed with a bit again, so that your shields will not recharge if your hull is being hit. That's bad. It'd be nice if the other team, the opponents, the NPCs, had the same problems, but I suspect they don't. But we'll find out, with any luck. Actually, I don't even need to do that. We'll just take off and eyeball my locations. I may be sorry I said that later. And I'm sorry I said that. Because now I need to find one of the orbital markers.
Thank you.
You know what? It's easier just to have the map do my work for me. What's the point of having a navigational array if it doesn't do its navigationals? Oops, and of course I turned off my quantum drive. That's right, everyone. I'm starting out great today. Now, the Hornet is billed as a medium fighter. That means it doesn't fight light fighters as well as a light fighter, and it doesn't deal with heavy fighters as well as a heavy fighter. It's basically, instead of being the best of both worlds, it's kind of almost the worst. That's okay. We can take it. Now, I did notice that there was a little bit of a fix put in with as far as quantum travel goes. At least I didn't encounter the problem, let's put it that way. With the last patch, that was 3.16, you were unable to quantum from the planet's surface to another location on the planet's surface. You had to go to an orbital marker first and then go back down. I think they fixed that, so that now you don't have to go to the orbital marker, you just have to get out of the general atmosphere and then go to your target location, which is the way it worked before. Now, granted, I'm willing to concede the possibility that I may have just fluked out last time, so empirical evidence will need to be gathered. We'll find out. Well, maybe. This target is an atmospheric target. That means we're not out in the middle of space in a bunch of asteroids. We're just dealing with one really huge rock, the moon. And, of course, the target of opportunity. The challenge is to avoid smacking into said huge rock. Jury's still out on how well that'll work. Now, the Super Hornet has a mix of ballistic and energy weapons, so we're going to deal with energy weapons primarily until the shields are down, and then we'll start wailing on them with the ballistics. Of course, if he gets blown up by the energy weapons, I am not going to lose any sleep. Because if I can preserve the ballistics, that means I can go a little further without having to... Oh, okay, well, now we're going to have to use some ballistics because I'm waiting for my energy weapons to recharge. And we are currently 900 meters above the surface, which means this is pretty freaking dangerous here. Need to get some altitude here. I get nervous when we're trying to fight too close to the ground. I'd like to have a little bit of room here. Okay, let's unload on them again and see if we can make a blow up this time. Target destroyed. So now Crusader Security and I are on good terms. That is what I like to think of as an optimistic start for the day. Now, what do we have here? Contractor evaluation for Hurston, Blackjack, which is ArcCorps, apprehension for Microtech, but it's the location of this certificate that's going to tell me where we're going next. It's really when in the dark. It's really in the dark when it's so hard to know where those mountain peaks are. I hear that. Nighttime fighting in an atmosphere. Ugh. And don't get me started on planetary atmospheres. This is hard enough on the moon, but if you're fighting in, say, Hurston, Microtech, not good. Our target is at Uterpy. That means we will be dealing with our good friends at Microtech. Now, the other reason I grabbed the Super Hornet is I'm hoping that I'll actually be able to traverse the distance at a decent pace. But as I'm thinking I never did replace the quantum drive in this thing, so this may be a rough journey. Well, at least I've got the fuel. I'll probably need to refuel once we get to the Microtech region, though. I may need to do a refuel stop at Port Tresper. Okay, so since we have some time, let's take a look at the armament of the wonderful Super Hornet. And I'd like to point out that the Super Hornet, the weapons on here, you can probably replicate with any Hornet variant because there's a number of modular details that you can just yank out and replace. So the turret up top, the cargo variant doesn't have, but you can pull out the cargo part, put on a ball turret or something, and you're set. You can basically build your own Super Hornet. Just a thought. Right now I'm going with the default loadout because I'm cheap. Got a number of Badger repeaters, which are laser repeaters. A couple of Bulldog repeaters. Can't get this scroll right. A couple Bulldog repeaters, which are also laser repeaters. They're a size lower. Minus the second gunner seat, of course. Okay, right, there is that too. You do have the capability on a Super Hornet of having a co-pilot just hop in the back, grab turret control, and start wailing on people with that. If you don't have a co-pilot, all the weapons are under your control. But if you have a co-pilot, that fellow can take the turret guns and have a party. And we've got a couple Scorpion Gatlings, which are ballistic weapons, and those are the ones you want to be careful with because ballistics do run out. Let's take an exterior view. That turret up top, that's what the gunner is taking under control. What the? I guess that's a camera up top. It doesn't look like it's a launcher of any kind. Never really noticed that before. To be fair, I'm usually flying vessels that are not Super Hornets, so I can probably be forgiven. But that would explain why the gunner can actually see what he's doing when he's operating that back seat there. You can see that nice empty back seat. It's nice to see that they have a... Oh, okay, there we go. There's a nice little caution sign. I wonder if that's for the ejector. I'm not going to try to flip it around to see it. We've got those guns there. We've got guns on the wings, and the wings are the ones that have the Gatlings. And then up front, down here underneath, are those other repeaters. The Hornet design's a pretty nice design, to be fair. I've always liked it. Not as much as I like the Arrow's design. It's probably not a coincidence that both of those vessels are created by our good friends at Anvil Aerospace. Which I guess gives me a high opinion of the Anvil language. I like the Super Hornets. Well, I like the Hornets in general. I like the Arrow. And, of course, I'm a big fan of the Anvil Carrack. Which is a... Well, it's built as an exploration vehicle. It's a large vehicle. It can handle a small snub fighter, like, say, the Anvil Pisces, as well as an Ursa rover in the garage. And it has a whole bunch of other good stuff that can be used that actually don't work right now because the gameplay does not yet exist. Yeah, if you played Star Citizen a lot, you've probably heard that phrase from me a number of times. That gameplay does not yet exist. And I'm probably going to be using that quote for a very long time. We are still a little under 30 million kilometers away from Microtech. OLSR from Microtech is one of the bigger slogs in the game. It's about as far away from... It's about as large a distance as you really want to go from major planet to major planet. Going to Hurston's faster. Going to ArcCore is faster. ArcCore to Microtech is probably roughly the same as Crusader to Microtech, which is to say, it's a long way. Oh, the sound of my fuel continuing to disintegrate. I'll make it. I got plenty of hydrogen fuel, and it doesn't require much to... In fact, why don't we work on that now? I got myself set to Euterpe, but we're going to stop at Port Tressler instead because, again, quantum fuel. Now, the nice thing about the Hornet that I like too, and this kind of goes to with a change they made with not horribly long ago. For a while, no matter what ship you were flying, you would always have kind of in the upper corners of your screen your self status and the target status. But when they redesigned the HUD, they kind of got rid of that. But the Hornet at least has the self and target status still in the same relative places, except, you know, on an MFD in the upper part of the cockpit window. And that is why I like flying the Hornet. Well, one of the reasons I like flying the Hornet. Now, granted, it's still a little tricky to see sometimes when you're having your head moving around in the middle of a fight. but I feel it's at least a little easier to see. That alone makes it worth it. We are under 10 million kilometers. We're maybe about a minute and a half away from Microtech. It usually tends to lop off about maybe 100,000 a minute, maybe. 100,000 a second, my bad. I can't do math. Math is hard. $5 million, and you can hear that we're already decelerating. Soon, we will be at the world of Microtech, and we'll be heading to its orbital space station. And look at that quantum fuel. Right in the center of the screen right now, you've got hydrogen and quantum. And that quantum fuel, we're almost down to fumes. Quantum fuel is going to be a real problem when the star system of Pyro is released, because from everything I've been told, the Pyro system is bigger than Stanton. And worse yet, it probably doesn't have as many amenities as Stanton. That's a problem. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're trying to get that ship refueling gameplay ready to rock, because that's something that's going to be needed for Pyro. It's hardly the only thing that Pyro is going to need, because, you know, the whole server meshing thing and the ability to have more than 50 people on a server. Suffice to say, there's a lot that's going to be needed for Pyro, and there's really be nice if they got it out by the end of the year. I'm a little dubious, but we can hope, right? We can hope. Alright, we're heading towards Tressler, and I'm going to try to angle myself so I'm not pointed right out Tressler, because one of the things I tend to run into problems with whenever I approach a space station is I get this server lag kind of thing, where everything kind of freezes, the engines kind of turn off, I'm locked into going in the direction I'm pointed at, and I always worry that if I happen to be too close to the station, horrible things happen. Jared seemed hopeful in his video this week. Yeah, I did catch that, and I'm hopeful too, but you know, there are a lot of sayings about having hope in one hand and excrement in the other, and see which fills up first. So, we'll see. Yes, I was using the big words there because, you know, we don't need to go into lower education, so to speak. Alright, unfortunately none of my MFDs currently have communications on, so I'm going to swap that one out. It'd be nice to have Pyro out because, you know, it's a new area to explore, new stuff to see. Gosh, ship that's practically right in front of me. What are they flying? No, I'm scanning Tressler. I don't want to scan Tressler. I want to scan the ship. That's the problem with the scanning. It's not always scanning what you want to actually scan. Well, you know what? Fine. I'll just be sure to angle myself away from that, too. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Okay, Port Tressler was giving me the ATC message, so let's get a landing pad. Oh, that ain't good.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Well, we had somebody bad on the radar, but apparently he's already been obliterated. I'm not really sorry to see that. Now, the landing pads for Tressler tend to be on the inside of the station, which seems to be really poor design as far as I'm concerned. And you gotta kind of have to maneuver around the rotating ring there as well. If you fly too high up, you smash into it. But, you know, I was not consulted with the design of Port Tressler, so I'm no architect of any talent, or as people who've watched my Valheim streams can testify, architecture is not my strong point. Now, technically, I don't need to land to do this, but I always feel that my odds of having the refuel, rearm, repair kind of trilogy always seems to work better if I do.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
So we're going to restock everything, including those very few bullets I fired. There's 20 rounds on each cannon. And we're fueled up and ready to rock. Next stop, Uterpy. Now let's home in on Uterpy and see where the target location... You'll see that here the target location does not correspond to any of the usual locales. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to the comm array there and see how close that gets me. Now, it's also possible, just possible, that maybe that location is going to have a derelict site. And if it does, we'll go check it out, because,
Thank you.
well, I'm interested. Kind of crawling as far as quantum speed goes. Sheesh. But we got here, and the bad news is it looks like we have a high chance of this being again on the dark side of a celestial body. Which kind of goes into the category of meaning, this sucks. Let me clear out my route. Alright, I was going to go to the comm array first, wasn't I? It's worth a try. I mean, it can't get too much worse, right? Oh, I shaved off 40-some kilometers. Alright, now for the fun part. Because there's no convenient quantum location, unless the marker here... No, that marker is not going to put me any closer. So we're going to have to basically dive in. Make sure my headlights are on. We really need an indicator on here telling us when our headlights are on. Okay, technically they're not headlights, they're spotlights, but I use them to see where I'm flying on this, near the surface, so I still think of them as headlights. We are 160 kilometers away. We're doing better than 1,000 meters a second, which is basically a kilometer a second. So, mathematically speaking, we are a little over 2 minutes away from the last known position of Taro. Taro is the low-risk threat target, so I am not expecting this to be what you would call a very lengthy fight. In fact, I could make it even shorter because, technically speaking, I have 8 missiles on this ship as well. All of which are type size 1 IR missiles. And I think IR is still working. I hope IR is still working. Some missiles, apparently, like the cross-sectionals, seem to be having problems lately. they don't lock on, so to speak. But it's not something I've really experimented with. And plus, we did just have a new patch land, so for all I know, they got that fixed. We are a little over 60 kilometers. We have yet to enter what I will laughingly refer to as the atmosphere of Utopia. Now, I keep calling them atmosphere, but the truth is it might be better to call it the gravity well. Until you see... Oh, there we go. Until you see the altimeter on the right-hand side there hitting. Ooh, I love it when we... Okay, well, I guess we do have some kind of atmosphere, because otherwise I would not be on fire right now. However, I am getting awfully close to the ground here. So we're going to slam the brakes as hard as we can. I may have chosen poorly. I regret my life choices. Oh, thank God we leveled out. You didn't hear me say any of that. So we have 2 targets, one of which is my primary, who is flying an Aegis Gladius. Oh, 3 targets. Okay. We may have to be moderately violent here. Try to avoid those missiles. Incoming missiles suck.
Take that.
Ha. Oh, you want to talk about that? Fine. Oh, no, we're not going to kill him yet. Not going to kill him yet. Certain priorities.
Shields hit.
Oh, for heaven's sake, is that Gladius even moving? Oh, there we go. Now he's mobile.
Got something for you.
Oh, he's noticed me all right. Yeah, if I can, when I can see the ground on my lights, that means I'm too close. Target destroyed. Now we're going to do a little bit of evasive maneuvers here while I take care of one minor technical detail. Always, 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 always grab call to arms. Because then it makes killing these guys who are firing at me now worth it. So now when I blow these guys up for being annoying, I'll get paid. I'm still way too close to the ground as far as I'm concerned. Now this Gladius seems to be a little bit tougher than his buddy was.
Target destroyed.
But only a little bit. Up, and I've got another Eclipse on me. That figures. So far so good. I haven't slammed into the ground. Believe me, that's an accomplishment. That's right. Keep flying like that. Oh, target down. So my targets here for my low risks are down. Next step, since we're here at Microtech. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. No. I thought this was going to be an attack on the space, but this looks like it's a ground Microtech mission, so I am not particularly interested in dealing with that. I have bigger fish to fry. And naturally, the next target is back at Selen, back at Crusader. Oh, you know what? Heck with them. Crackdown is... We're going to grab the Blackjack bounty. because that'll get me to Arc Core, which was not the best thing I could have done. Okay. We'll grab the Hurston Dynamics bounty. I mean, we might as well get the ones that are closer before I go after the ones that are further away, right? However, it seems I might have to take a quick hop over to Microtech first so I can actually get myself a course. There we go. We're not even going the rest of the way to Microtech now. We're just going to go directly to Hurston. I mean, sheesh. Why go to Selwyn right away and ignore closer? I could be taking the long way around for everything. Why do that? Seriously. So, once again, we're taking a bit of a trip, but the trip to Hurston is a bit shorter than the trip to Crusader. At least a little bit. At least we're on the same side of the Star of Stanton. Now, it's worth mentioning as I go back and forth with these various certificates that there was another certificate that I've already taken care of. That was for Ling family hauling. Because if you can get up to the runner, it's kind of hard to see because the lighting of my quantum drive is blinding me. But I've got some, I'm up to working on the Tier 2 here, and that opens up a number of interesting delivery missions. And that's what Ling family does. They do hauling. You do box deliveries. But if you do so well, you can open up the prospect of doing deliveries for them. That will net you, instead of 8,000 or 9,000, will net you 45,000. Sound too good to be true? Well, those 45,000 things do have one minor bit of difficulty associated with them. Those boxes tend to be in bunkers that are occupied by bad people who are willing to shoot you when you come in. Or worse yet, shoot you on your way out. So, higher pay for higher risk. Now, at one time I thought that they were all linked together, but if you look over here at, say, let's go to Redwind Line Haul. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm not at level 2 for those guys. So I'm still getting the basic stuff for Redwind. And Unified, yeah, same thing. And these are both delivery companies, so you can get similar kind of missions pretty much wherever you're at. I know I'm missing one because Ling handles the area around Crusader. Redwind, I think, handles maybe Hurston? I'm pretty sure Unified handles Microtech. Let's see, is there anything under a... No, I guess there's... Okay, dossier. Area of operations, Stanton. Yeah, that didn't help at all. I was kind of hoping... Oh, here we go. Headquarters, Microtech. Red line, Area 18. So actually, I haven't actually done Hurston. I have not done Hurston. Well, I'll put that on my future list. And then Ling is handling off of Crusader. MT does seem to have something for bounty hunting, but I didn't see any certificates there. At least for something other than their ground mission. Sadly, one of the certifications that's going to be a little rougher to get a hold of, because I'm never 100% sure what the trigger is the North Rock Service Group, which is a overarching bounty hunting organization that opens up group bounties. I've honestly never been able to nail down exactly what unlocks that. I want to say that certifications from multiple bounty hunting organizations. So if I were to get Hurston Security and Crusader Security and say Blackjack, that might do it, maybe. But I've never actually heard any good explanation as to what unlocks North Rock. But they're a big one to recertify because, like I said, that's the one that gives you group bounties, and those are the ones that will get you those nice, sweet 85,000+ credits for group ERT. Bonuses apply, so for example, I usually get at least 90k off of those things. And that's a nice chunk of change. Of course, there are minor difficulties there because they often involve hammerheads, hurricanes. Vanguard wardens are no big deal. And I'm usually going in, a lot of people will go with various Vanguard to do those. I don't actually have a Vanguard. I use the Crusader Ion. And the Ion has issues, especially with hurricanes, which are highly maneuverable, highly well armed, highly well shielded, highly armored as far as hull points go, which kind of makes you wonder why everybody doesn't fly a hurricane, aside from the fact that their best weapons require a second pilot. All right, here we are at Hurston. We have a decent amount of quantum fuel still left, so I'm not going to bother refueling yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my contracts manager. We're going to track the one here at Hurston. And it's over at Aberdeen at HDMS Nordgard. So it's going to be another semi-atmospheric sort of thing. I say semi because, well, it is a moon. But Aberdeen has, let's be blunt. The atmosphere at Aberdeen is horrible to fly in. The sky is roughly the same color as the ground. Or at least it usually is. That makes for and of course it's going to be, well, actually this is one of the situations where flying on the dark side would actually not be bad. Because at least I don't have to worry about the color of the ground and sky. It'll just be dark. I admit that has its own problems. But for some reason it feels more honest, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. And believe me, that is definitely a lack of a better phrase. Alright, let's turn off the quantum drive. We are 6 kilometers above the surface right now. And I'm going to level ourselves off a bit because I'd prefer to stay at that height if I can. There's actually somebody nearby, but I've outpaced him on the radar. It's got the white coloration, so that leads me to believe it might be a Hurston Security guy. Must resist urge to kill him. I may have certain unresolved issues with Hurston Security. Alright, Pudgy. Flying a Mustang Delta. Well, that's a poor choice of thing to fly against me. Unfortunately, he's still way too close to the ground for my comfort. If I were smart, I would hit him with missiles now.
Shields hit.
Oh, he's still alive. That's the bad news.
Target destroyed.
But the good news is I didn't crash into Aberdeen. Issues are not liking the color of something. You and Hurston Security are much more. I will deny nothing. The good folks at Hurston and I don't really get along. Okay, next step. Let's bring up the map. There's nothing else happening here. I can either go to Crusader. You know what? We're going to go back to Crusader. There's a reason for this, instead of Arc Core to start. And I do have a good reason for this. Because right now, this would be the MRT. And after I take him out, we're going to start dealing with HRTs and higher. And I'm going to want to swap ships for that. So we go into Crusader, and we're going to take a... Oh, wait. Can I get there? Alright, so I'm going to have to get myself to an orbital marker or something that will allow me to properly chart a course. I'm not 100% certain that I've got the fuel to get me to Crusader. I might, but it's going to be a close thing. No, I am not going to be able to get to Crusader. Let's refuel. That means a quick stop at Everest Harbor. This is one of the hazards of flying fighters. You can jaunt around a little bit, but if you want to go from one side of the star system to the other, you're usually going to need to make a pit stop. At least the Hurricane can actually handle a trip from Hurston to Crusader. If you were in a smaller fighter with a, say, default quantum drives, you might have to refuel halfway there. You'd have to stop at one of the R&R stations. That little detail is one of the reasons why I think that Pyro is going to be even more interesting than it sounds, because if the light fighters can't traverse Pyro, you need to have those refueling ships like the Starfarers and the like. Or you're going to need ships that can carry it. Hence the existence of a vessel like, say, the Envil Liberator, which is still in concept, which is theoretically able to transport small fighters. And hopefully it has the fuel tank to actually get them around. Thus making the Liberator a fairly important ship to have if you want to be kicking around light fighters in the Pyro system. This is all theory crafting. This is all theory crafting because nobody really knows what Pyro is going to be like, except for the lawless and large part. Yeah, did I mention the lawless part? Pyro is basically a system that doesn't have security zones. It's not going to have comsats that alert bounty targets or anything like that. It's not going to have security ships flying around to harass you. But you do have to worry about our other players.
Thank you. And please visit again.
And of course, the AI, all of which are not going to be what you would call favorably disposed towards you. There we go. Sooner or later I was going to get that Everest Harbor thing to kick on.
Please proceed to assign landing bay.
Naturally, it's the exact opposite side of where I was expecting. story of my life.
Landing gear deployed.
Just one of many reasons why I tend to spend as little time around Hurston as possible. Hurston used to be my preferred area to operate. You had all kinds of missions here. You had the ground missions here, you had bounty hunting missions here. All sorts of stuff you could do here. Had Laranite for mining. It was perfect. But,
Initiating ship storage procedure.
what?
For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
I don't want to hear nothing about storing. I just freaking landed. I am being annoyed by Hurston again. Well, we're not sticking around. I was just here long enough to refuel and rearm. And now, I'm out of here. Before I get tempted to start strafing Everest Harbor. And believe me, I am tempted to strafe Everest Harbor. I have not forgotten the days of their air traffic control people
And please visit again.
trying to close their hangar doors on my Carrack as it tried to leave on any number of occasions. Or, just as bad, whenever I was trying to land at said locations. Now, once we deal with this particular bounty, we're going to head back to Olisar, and we're going to swap vessels, because while I'm pretty happy with flying the Super Hornet, we're going to start going against vessels that I want to use a different loadout for. You see, I do better with the high risk and very high risk targets by flying an Aegis Sabre. And Sabre gets a lot of bad rap, mainly because, you know, people are usually looking at it in the terms of player versus player content. And to be fair, they're probably right on that point. For player versus player, there are better ships to use. Especially since the primary reason for the existence of the Sabre, stealth, isn't quite what it needs to be in game yet. But I like it because it is a pretty stealthy ship as far as player versus environment, PvE. It does okay with that. I like this. Well, I like the standard armament, although you'll find out when I swap out that I did tinker with it a little bit recently. And I like the way the guns are fairly close together. They're not all over the ship. It's a design that I like. More on that when we get there, however. In the meantime, we are just lurching along. Ugh, this is longer than I thought it was. I swear it was almost like the trip to Microtech was faster. I blame the Star of Stanton. Must be that intense gravity well that I'm flying through. Well, around. Depends on how you look at it. You know, if you fly too close to the sun, bad things happen. Oh, there's that fuel indicator again. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. You get a little beeping sound when your fuel is going down. And I would think that that would be the prime opportunity to have that onboard computer saying, fuel at 75%. And to be fair, it usually does if you're in the middle of if it's hydrogen fuel. But you don't get that message for quantum fuel. What do I know? I just play the game. Let's see, is there any other missions up right now? I probably won't see anything because I'm out of ComSat range, and that I'm pretty sure ComSats have a lot to do with whether or not I'm able to receive messages. I'm not convinced that this isn't a regular bounty hunting mission. There's a lot here. Well, you know what? We save that for last. One thing I want to do is slightly armor up in that situation, just in case. If it turns out to be a ground bounty, I really feel stupid. I did hear the deceleration noise, so we are almost at the gas giant of Crusader once more. Maybe we'll be lucky, and this time it'll either be in the asteroids around Cellin, or it'll be on the light side of Cellin. That's the ideal situation. The likely situation is, oh, guess what? We're in the middle of nowhere again, in blackest night. Hey, it is what it is. Since we're talking Cellin, I might as well start plotting my course to the target. It is another one that is not at a specific location. Now it feels like it's pretty close to an aid shelter though, so I want to set the route to that. We're going to try to set the route to that. Okay, orbital marker right over here. Better. One of these days, the navigational system on these star maps will be a lot more fluid. It ain't there yet, though, and I don't really think it's on the radar, although I do seem to recall seeing something on the roadmap about quantum improvements. So who knows, maybe there is something on the way. Then again, I feel that the problem is the map and not the quantum drives. No way of knowing. Well, guess what? I think we're going to be on the dark side again. Here we go. Maybe I'll turn out to be wrong and it'll actually be bright on the other side too. It is actually somewhat bright on the other side. How about that? So this time I can actually see the ground. Next step. We're 82 kilometers away from our target. How's that for an improved spot? Usually I had to deal with a couple hundred kilometers. We're under 100 here. Let's crank that speed up a bit, although let's make sure that I'm also pointed in a direction that will not splatter me across the landscape when I have to slow down. Because that was just, you know, the tiniest bit embarrassing. I'm going to crank it a little faster because I don't want to be forever getting there. Okay, a little over a minute. Ballpark. I'm also going to kind of coming in an angle. Mainly because if there's a derelict, I'd kind of like to be able to see it. I don't think I'll actually see it. I tend to be moving a little too fast. But I figure if we're flying in the middle of nowhere, maybe there's a reason we're flying in the middle of nowhere. Target is seen. A target is seen. Lester Dix, which is great, except Lester over there is not my current target. I don't see any signs of a derelict ship so far, so much for that hope. That said, one missile, huh? I realize that, you know, one missile, two decoys is a horrible mismatch as far as efficiency goes. Oh, there's my target. Flying a Gladius. So definitely a light fighter. But at least it's one that is a relatively simple one to deal with. Hit up the ballistics a little bit. Go back to energy. Did I miss all those shots? I'm definitely hurting him. I can see the red on his target status that he's had chunks of him blown off.
Shields hit. Target destroyed.
Okay, let's take care of our other contestants. We have a freelancer over here. These guys are kind of tanky usually. I can get him. It was worth it. And another guy flying a Sabre. Well, that's irony for you. Come a little closer. If nothing else, I know I won't have to worry about too much missiles on them because Sabres don't carry a lot in the way of missiles. And he's not as hurt as I was hoping. That, on the other hand, definitely indicates that he was hurt. Okay, let's do a quick pass around here just to see if there's anything, you know, remotely wreckage looking. I don't see anything. So it is off to Port Olisar. Presuming I can get out of atmosphere high enough. Looks like I don't have a clean path to Olisar. No, that's what the navigational computer is for. To get me a clean path to Olisar. And we'll swap out vehicles. Plus, you know, I need to put more ballistics back on this thing. Now, if I'm really lucky, the certification for the high-risk targets will be at ArcCorps. I don't expect it to be because that would make my life too easy. Nothing ever goes that easy for me. And yet, hope springs eternal. getting that server lag again. Speaking of things that are eternal, I do fly with an organization, usually, the Eternal Riders. We do have a org information that I'm going to put in the chat now. If you like what I'm showing you, you want to fly with a cool bunch of folks, the Riders are certainly worth looking into. Oh.
I have been authorized to scan your vehicle for security purposes. Please hold your vehicle and stand by.
Yes, by all means, go ahead and scan my vehicle with no cargo capacity whatsoever. Stationary, scanning.
Okay, thanks. We'll clear to proceed.
You're too good to me. Really. I'm not being sarcastic at all. Really.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
I can never fake sincerity.
Landing gear deployed.
I've always liked Portal SR as far as now, granted, it might be, my opinion may be impacted by the fact that this was my starting location when I got involved in Star Citizen. Because it was generally recommended as the starting location for new players. Of course, that was before, you know, pad ramming became a sudden thing.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Engines offline.
Which is the reason why I keep my shields up. It won't help against pad rammers very much, but anybody shooting will have a harder time. And back inside. The only well, there's two downsides I see with Olisar as it's currently designed. Okay, three downsides. One, the open landing pads. And I can see there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Now without, you know, significant redesign. Two, the fact, there's a lot of problems here. We're going to go through the whole list here. Two, each strut is completely independent, with no way of traveling between them aside from going EVA outside in the void of space. An elevator of some kind would be handy here. It doesn't exist. Three, no hospital. That means if you want a hospital or clinic or anything here, you gotta use Grim Hex or Orison. 4, it doesn't have landing capability for the extra large ships like the Reclaimer or the 890. It doesn't even have a docking arm like you find at the other space stations. Or an extra large hangar like Grim Hex does. So, you know, it's not perfect. But it did feel like a great place for starting experience because, well, it's got this central area for your terminals. It's got the ship store, well, ship component store and clothing store right here. Right on the other side here, we've got the armor and weapon shops. Everything is nice and convenient. It's very well designed. Except for, you know, those minor details that I mentioned. But the hospitals were a relatively recent thing. But the lack of ability to access the various struts by any way other than going outside and spacewalking your way there, that's a problem I've had with it for a long time. This is the Aegis Sabre. The aforementioned stealth fighting machine that doesn't really have a whole lot in the way of stealth. What can you do? Now we're going to adjust my MFDs so that I have my target status and my self status on the upper level here. Like I said, back in the day, my left and right hand sides would show me the target status and self status. I thought it was being flashed on the helmet as, you know, a service. Not anymore. We'll move that to comm. We'll move this to weapons. And we're going to link the weapons here. Now, usually, the Sabre is flying with laser repeaters. I replace them with laser cannons. I just wanted to get an idea as to whether or not there would be any noticeable improvement in my time to kill against some of the larger ships. Oh! North Rock is up. Awesome. North Rock is always my first choice. Because that's the group bounties. That's a big deal. That way lies obscene profit. Now there is one more thing to pay attention to in the contracts, and it doesn't show up under the Bounty Hunter, but it starts under the Personal tab, and you'll have an appointment that comes up occasionally. It'll be an appointment for Miles Eckhart, which opens up an entertaining chain of missions, but I'm not 100% sure what opens that up. My advice? Just keep shooting things. Sooner or later, you'll get a job. You'll get the job, or at least you'll get the offer. Alright, starting at Daymar, target number 1. Let's get that let's start getting that North Rock money again.
Thank you. Please.
Nice thing about North Rock is they tend to put their group bounties in this same planet that you happen to be around. So if you're a Crusader, all your targets are likely to be a Crusader. Hurston, all targets likely to be at Hurston. I don't know if North Rock contacts you around Arcor or Microtech. I haven't really scienced it. It appears we're going to be dealing with atmospheric bounties again, so... And I want to say these will be medium risk threat targets because that's my current certification. But I don't know that. Who are we near? We are near Kudra Ore. Okay. That's at least a familiar location. Other nice thing about North Rock is they at least give you the beacon locations of your target, regardless of where they happen to be. So you usually don't have to do the hoof it 200 kilometer flight to them. Usually. Okay, we have one target. He's flying a Freelancer. He is, however, not the primary target. Fabrin, another Freelancer. Again, not primary. Cutlass Black is my primary. It's Christmas time. What I was mentioning earlier about Hurston security, it goes double for Drake. Or at least people flying Drake ships. If they want to fly garbage ships, I'm happy to shoot them down. I take an almost childlike glee in the effort. Now there's a slower rate of fire with the laser cannons, but theoretically each hit is doing more damage. Unfortunately, they're also not exactly what we would call big numbers for the capacitor. Need to get a little bit better angle on him. There we go. Ah, it does my heart good to see the Drake parts blown to bits. Of course, I'm also going to have to do the same with the MISC vessels here, and I have a soft spot for MISC, but it's not going to stop me from blowing them up. The real amazing thing is that these guys haven't chucked any missiles at me, which is rather surprising. They are kind of chunky. Oh, whoa, whoa, not good, not good. Oh, that was too close. I was almost close to hitting the ground. I'm afraid that freelancer, on the other hand, was not so fortunate. Yeah, it only now occurs to me that my speed was going a lot faster than I really wanted to in that fight. Hopefully I'll have an easier time maneuvering now. I was wondering why I was having so much trouble staying on target. Now I know. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. Ow! Well, that's a good news, bad news situation. The good news is... Why do I have that on? I thought I turned that off. Had a currently flying thing on there, which was inaccurate. I usually like to have that up for, you know, expos and other things. But for some reason, its visibility got turned on, and I have no idea why. I'm going to have to check to see if I have a keyboard shortcut to those. If I do, that would explain a lot. Okay, well, here I am as bits and pieces, thanks to my whacking into the wreck that I had recently blown up. I just didn't blow it up hard enough. So we are going to dispose of this medical gown and put on the cheapo helmet. I did lose the tractor beam and multi-tool. Why is it telling me one of... I thought that decremented, but maybe it's incrementing. Oh yeah. Now you'll notice that I'm not at Orison, which is my usual starting location. That's because I took precautions. I went over to Crew L1 instead. I'm not doing the claim here because that would be silly. I will claim the... Actually, you know what? No. We're going to claim the Titan. 47 seconds. And I'll claim the Sabre when we get back to Olisar, and we'll grab a different ship. I won't be expediting the Sabre. I mean, I could, but I won't. We'll fly something different, and I'm thinking that different is going to be the Anvil Arrow. Because I still like the Anvil Arrow, even though it is going to suffer a lot thanks to the recent change in shields, because the arrow is made out of tissue paper. Or maybe balsa wood. Those shields are the only thing keeping it alive, and they nerfed the hell out of its shield capability, and then they've nerfed the hell out of the shield ability to regenerate at all, making it really bad. Pad 4, didn't happen to catch that the first time. So I think the arrow is going to potentially be in a horrible place. But I could also be wrong, which is why that feels like a good choice to pick things up. Is that really telling me that I've got 2 of my bounties killed? Because I could have sworn I only killed 1. No, it says 2 killed. Why do I have 2 people killed? Well, I finally lost it. I thought that I only had one bounty target so far, and apparently 2 are dead, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I don't... Unless I got credit for somebody else killing them, which seems unlikely, but... Ours is not the reason why. You know what? Actually, you know what? You know what? Why go to Olisar to finish things up when I can use this ship? The Avenger Titan is a courier ship. Let's make sure who my last target is. It's a courier ship. Olin Childers.
Thank you. And please visit again.
And Olin Childers was listed as being... Oh, come on. You were showing me Olin Childers a minute ago. Why can't you show me a name now? I could have sworn I was seeing it at Daymar, though. Okay, maybe not Daymar. Ah, here we are. Yella. Yes, wouldn't that figure? Didn't I set my course? I set my course. So why don't I see a marker telling me which... Oh, there we are. I'm just slow. Quantum drive in here is, well, it's a size 1, so you're not going to get great speed on it no matter how you slice it. I'm currently using on this ship, Mantis Gatling. I think it's a Gatling. It's certainly ballistic, and Badger repeaters for lasers. I really don't know how that second guy got blown up. Did I really blow him up without being aware of it? Am I losing track? Am I starting to crack? Okay. Starting to crack probably is the wrong term. I make no apologies. I haven't done a whole lot of fighting in the Titan, so it's going to be interesting to see how this handles it. My extremely limited amount of ballistic ammunition means that I'm going to have to make sure that every shot counts. That means the shields have got to be down on the target before I start unloading the ballistics on them. And then, of course, I want to make sure that the ballistics hit said target. Whenever I see the Titan, the Avenger series, I always am thinking of the old space shuttles. It just has that kind of look and feel to it to me. Your mileage may vary, but that's how I've always thought of it. Okay, we are closing in. Alright, Olin Childers. I see that you are in space, so I don't have to worry about crashing into the ground. I just have to worry about crashing into one of 100 rocks. Okay, it's a fact. They're definitely repeaters. I already knew that, I guess, but it's nice to have actual proof. I'm not going to bother playing with the Mantis until I have to. Now, as an interesting point of information here, we're seeing a little bit of how reality works. Because Mantis not only is the name of a type of gun in Star Citizen, but it's also the name of a type of starship. The Rsi Mantis, which is an interdiction ship, capable of unleashing quantum disruption so that you can't get away, and in fact can create a bubble where if you get your quantuming through, you will automatically slow down. People who have played EVE Online or are familiar enough with it will certainly recognize the usefulness of being able to use such a blockading style of ship. When piracy becomes more of a thing, I expect the Mantises will thrive. That'll be when physicalized cargo gets rolled in. Slated for this year, but we'll see. There's a lot we don't know about it yet. Target acquired is a Drake Buccaneer, which means this is going to be a pretty rough fight, actually. Buccaneer is a light fighter, and it's got lots and lots of guns. It's also got a decent amount of protection, so will they stop hitting me with contact from the same freaking guy? Fine. Let's make their lives just as miserable. Alright, Drake boy. Let's see what you can handle. First pass, did a pretty good number on the shields. And speaking of shields, those shields are down. So now, add on a little bit of ballistic to the mix here. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. Getting the hits, but he's still breathing. At the rate I'm going, I'm going to blow a wing off. Although I will accept a total explosion. Now, where's that other target? I'm not sure why I can't get him targeted. Well, you know what? I don't care. Killing that guy is not going to improve my bounty much, so we're going to go to OSR and swap out. And we'll take a quick look at the Moby Glass to verify that sorry, wrong one. Yes, that contract was completed, so in the not horribly distant future, I should start seeing group bounties showing up on my list. First things first, however. Some of that lag. Oh, ECN alert. Network intrusion. Someone is trying to take down a ComSat. That means crime is going to start looking way up in the near future. In fact, it might even be local. Oh, I'm not seeing it listed on here. So somebody must have already picked up the contract to deal with it. Alright, let's get a landing pad off this stuff.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Now, in the not too recent past, it was kind of a thing to... Oh dear, the whole station hasn't spawned in yet. I can't actually land here yet. Because there's nothing there. That's annoying. Oh, we'll just kick back and relax and see who was targeting me a minute ago. Why does the freaking space station always get in the way when I'm not scanning it? Clearly, scanning has some work that needs done. If I were to try landing right now, I would literally go right through the station. So this is a little crazy, and I can see the signage there. Oh, okay, there we go. Everything's spawning in. And I see we've got some bad people nearby. We will just exit the ship from the cockpit here instead of going through the back like I like to do. To help my odds of survival should somebody start taking pot shots at my ship. But I'm pretty sure that Port OSR turrets will take care of business. Whoa! Man, OSR seems to have taken a little bit of a hit since the last time I was here. Oh, okay, there we go. The lighting's just awful. Now, something blew up nearby. I don't know if it was my ship or if it was the bad guy ships. But since I don't hear turret fire anymore, I'm kind of assuming it was the bad guys. Do a claim on the Sabre. And let's think this through now. What do we have in the way of our current bounty targets? I still have that blackjack bounty sitting out there. I also have group warrants, so that definitely worked the way it should. And I've got somebody at Hurston. Well. What to do, what to do. How long is it going to take the Sabre? 6 minutes? What about expedite time? Okay, okay. I'm willing to wait the expedite time for the Sabre. While I'm waiting, let's see. What size quantum drive can I find in the Sabre? If I can cut down my travel time a bit, that would be a bonus. Nope, it's a size 1. I'm not going to get all that much improvement. I could do something else, though. Yeah. Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll yank the drive off of my Freelancer for now. And we're going to take the Vanguard Harbinger. Now, full disclosure, I've never been a big fan of the Vanguard series of ships. I just never really got a good handle on flying those things and making them work out. On the other hand, you can't get good at something if you don't keep trying. My preference has always been the Ion. Well, let me rephrase that. Ever since it came available, my preference has been the Ion. But the Harbinger ain't bad. It's one of 4 different variants of the Vanguard series of fighters. Heavy fighters, I should say. Let's be accurate about it. And the Harbinger is the missile boat variant of it. Now you'll notice up here we've got a turret, and I believe those involve rocket pod access. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I'm kinda certain. But the pilot has access to plenty of missiles themselves, plus a fair amount of weaponry. Once again, I don't have the upper corners, so we're going to move around things. Target status. Self status. I'm not sure about those weapons. Are the weapons all ballistics? Or are they all energy? I think they're all energy. I actually don't know. If the bloody types meant anything on here, that would help, but it really doesn't these days. Set that to comms. Alright, let's look at contracts, shall we? I know I've got that Arcor one still kind of sitting there lurking. But we are going to go for the Journeyman contract first. Because it's a shorter trip to get Microtech. Sorry, Hurston. Ugh. It's a shorter trip to get to Hurston than it is to get to Arcor. Now I've updated I basically swapped out. The main reason I'm grabbing the Vanguard here is because I wanted a fighter that could actually use a better quantum drive than the size 1s I was using.
Thank you. Please visit again.
So we're going to do a quick comparison here. It took us a little over 5 minutes to get to Hurston from Crusader. Let's see how fast it takes the Vanguard with the upgraded drive. 3 minutes. We have chopped off 2 minutes off of our travel time by using a ship with a significantly better quantum drive. It helps that it's using a size 2 as opposed to a size 1. But I also made sure to use one of the better size 2s as opposed to the default. Because the default quantum drives at size 2 all suck. That's not really an exaggeration. At any rate, this is the design of the Vanguard. And yeah, that top turret, you can see it's got those rocket pods. Let's get a little closer so we can see them in more detail. So if you're a turret gunner in this baby, you're not firing piddling things like lasers or standard ballistics. You are using nasty rockets. That said, I've never actually seen anybody use them, so I can't say for certain anything. Down here, okay, yeah, these definitely look like energy weapons. I think we're good on that. So I don't have to worry too much about ammunition problems. Well, actually, no, you know what? I think they are ballistic. Those numbers are far too high to be energy weapons. If they were energy, we'd be doing... There's a simpler way, isn't there, though? I'm going to try to monkey with my power triangle a little bit, and I don't know if I successfully went the way I wanted to or not. No, not that. Oh, great. I can't swap. Oh, there we go. No, I moved all weapons to power, and none of them budged, so you know what? I think I'm dealing with all ballistics on this thing. That is gonna suck. That means I have to make sure I kill my target before I run out of ammo. This is gonna suck. Oh well. All I really need to do is take out the primary target. I don't have to deal with his buddies. The buddies are a bonus. Okay. Gotta deal with the rather lengthy cooldown. The downside of having such a decent quantum drive is that it takes longer for the thing to cool down to the point where I can use it again. It's still substantially less than the couple minutes I saved, though, so... all in all, it's still a win. Now, it's worth noting that I've got 4 guns linked to one button and 1 gun linked to the other. And the single gun is a... let's call it a bigger gun. Of course, it also has less ammo, so again, we're in a situation where I want to make sure that every hit counts. You know, I did not expect this to be out in space for some reason. Oh, and I see in chat that, in the in-game chat, that someone has encountered the elevator problem again at Grimhex. They thought they'd fixed it, they failed, they were wrong, and I believe there's a post that's been made on Spectrum that indicates that they're not really sure what the heck it is, so they're hoping that it gets fixed somewhere along the line from other activities. And of course that means that the ground missions probably also still have that possible duplicate elevator issue where you send an elevator down and it's doubled up. I'm sure we'll experience that sometime during my next ground mission series. The target is acquired. He is flying another. He's flying the Vanguard Warden, which is the more fighter version of the Vanguard series. There's also the Hoplite, which is a dropship, and there's an E-War version called the Sentinel, which is currently the meta, I believe, thanks to its access to electromagnetic pulse. Which, depending on the patch, is either overpowered or underpowered. Get that missile out of here. Honestly, I should have been firing missiles by now too, but you know, it's old habits. My habits are using guns. Oops, I didn't mean to do that yet. Oh, his shields are hurt. That's good. Unfortunately, he's also still breathing. Whoa! Up, 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 up! Yeah, that's always a hazard when you're flying around space debris. I'm pretty sure he's hitting me more than I'm hitting him. Yeah, that's the benefit of using those big guns. Okay, let's clean out these other guys because they annoy me. And let's face it, I can't resist going after a Drake. Oh, looks like he's lost a wing. Rough break. Getting some hits, but they don't look like they're really fatal hits. Firing missiles at me? Seriously? Oh, where did... Man, I just had a hard desync here. Did he die? No, he's still with us. Yeah, see that center gun of mine is a slow firing sucker. Oh, I see part of my problem. Part of my problem is I'm moving too bloody fast because I'm above SCM. No wonder I can't get a good set of shots on these guys.
Shit. Shit.
I really shouldn't be spending all this time on this guy, but they annoy me. And he's damaged. Although he's still intact. Okay, now he looks a little more hurt. It's a wonder these guys are still taking the beating. Okay, now let's deal with the one-winged wonder. I'm amazed he has any control whatsoever. My ammo's low, but his ammo is dead. Alright, let's take a pit stop at Everest. Okay, I was a little too close to an asteroid. Let's make sure our forward area is clear before I go to Everest Harbor to rearm. I guess I can refuel too. Also, I see I've got another certification rolled in, so let's see where it's located. Hurston! Well, I guess we know who's next on our hit list today. You know, I was really gonna hold off on the next certification. Why am I not pointed to Everest? Have I set Everest as my destination? Things are taking a slow time. Please don't let a 30K be rolling in. Oh, Everest is right here. Yeah, that was not smart of me. What can I say? Mistakes were made. But if I can take out old Roderick there, that'll open up the VHRTs, and I'll be one certificate away from unlocking my extreme risk targets, which I am certainly not going to be doing on this thing. No, for that, I want to be flying the Ion.
Thank you. And please visit again.
And I'm not even sure how well that's going to go, because Cap mentioned in the chat earlier that the Hammerheads were being vicious, and Cap is a significantly better pilot than I am, so I am not expecting good things.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Will that not go away? Oh, because I said it was a target. Duh. And there's my destination. I don't want much. I just want to rearm my, not quite 200 rounds per gun. They're empty and they need refilling. Oh, slow down, slow down, slow down! Ah! I wonder if this counts. No, it doesn't count. Okay, let's... There we go. Well, that was ugly, but we... That was ugly, but we got there.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Oh, everything's doing its refuel and recharge and all that. I'm going to go to my contract manager, look at my advanced license, which I'm currently tracking. Oh, cripes, this is going to be a fight on around Hurston itself. Oh, this is gonna suck. Unlike my previous targets, Hurston actually has gravity. This is gonna suck. Ah, well. Oh, why'd I do that?
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay. Thank you, and please visit again.
All right. HDMS Stanhope. Location of bad people. And after this guy, we are definitely going to Arcor. Contact already? But I don't see anybody. Well, whoever it is sees me. There we are. Roderick flying a Valkyrie. You know what this means? It's time to start playing with the various types of missiles. And we have a few really nasty missiles on the Harbinger here. I'm just debating whether or not I want to chuck the size 5s on him or not. Yeah, I surely do. I surely do. Why not? I never fly this thing to begin with, so who cares if I chuck these missiles at him. But I do want to get a little closer because countermeasures are still a thing. Now, for most of the missiles, I tend to go for like 5 kilometers, but that might be pushing it a little too close for this. I'm just not sure. If I can hit him with all 3 of these things, it's going to pretty much wreck that ship. That much I'm certain about. Oh, is he firing at me? Oh no, I've got other hostiles that are right here. Okay, well, let's chuck the missiles at him now and deal with the annoyances in a minute. Yeah, these things are kind of slow firing. These things can hit him. If they will hit him. One's down. That's a miss. I have a feeling they're both... Yeah, they all missed. Damn it. Luckily, we have other missiles. the meantime, I'm having my hind end waxed by his buddy, which means I'm in trouble. And those missiles all missed. And what is I'm having a warden hit me? That figures. I am a mess. I'm going to explode any time now. I have a sneaking feeling I've got a hurricane on my hind end. Because that would explain the huge amounts of damage I'm taking here. No, it's another Valkyrie. Cripes. Three Valkyries on this. We need to wipe them out fast. I can't go to Arcor directly. I'm too much of a mess. I need to repair. Okay, even though they wrecked my world, I wrecked them harder. Okay, back to Everest Harbor, and time to fix the ship. And we'll see if I can get any of the missiles rearmed, but I'm not 100% confident on that one because missiles have had a hard time with the restock lately. Let's take a look at the ship from the outside, shall we? Let's reset the positioning here. I actually don't look too horrible aside from the fact that I'm, you know, missing a wing. I would expect there would be more battle damage. I gotta get myself above 9 kilometers. And there we go. Aim at the orbital marker and let the calibration begin. Took a beating, but I'm still intact. I'm still intact. Except for that wing, of course. Can't really argue with success in that arena. Okay, once we do this, we'll go to Arcor, we'll take out that bounty, and that'll take care of all the planetary certifications. And we'll have taken care of all the bounty certifications except for the ERTs, because I'm pretty sure that was a VHRT I just completed. Yeah, VHRTs. So the last one I've got on my list is the ERTs, which nope. I'm not going to be tempted. No. It says Lyria, and I'm going to the area around Lyria because that's the Arcor, one of Arcor's moons. Oh, that Jezebel. Oh, I really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't do this. I'm doing it. But I'm still doing the Arcor planetary one first. That way, when I have my inevitable death, I won't feel so bad. Oh, looks like there's a little bit of activity happening out here. That seems to be a little dangerous. You know, anytime you guys want to give me a landing
Please
pad,
proceed to assigned landing bay.
thank you. I tell you, Hurston. Can't wait to get out of here. And let's try to be careful this time and not, you know, nearly ram through the back end of the landing area, because I think I've taken enough damage that I can very well explode myself. So we're going to drop our speed a tad. And a tad more. You know, kill the cruise control. And then we'll activate the auto land. We're going to try to activate the auto land. There we go. I mean, I'm perfectly capable of landing on my own, but this way I make sure that I land where they want me to land, where I can redo all of my little problems like rearm, refuel. Saving a restock for last,
Have a pleasant stay.
because those missiles may be an issue. Not to mention they might be attached to one of those wings, I'm not entirely sure. So good to see all that happen. Now let's restock. I mean, the missiles would be great, but really the big deal here is the ballistics. I'm going to go over here and take a look at my weapon loadout again, and we're going to see if those size 5s got put back on. No, they did not. We'll try another restock and see if that fixes it, but I'm not optimistic. Nope. That's going to be a problem, because I'm pretty sure that the ERT is going to have hammerheads involved, and size 2s are not going to cut it. Oh well. It is what it is. Let's go to the contract manager, look at my accepted bounties. We're going to grab the trial contract at ArcCorps. We're going to set our course. He's not Illyria too, is he? Let's take a look at that contract again. Okay, the target is the ERT is at the mineral reserve. That's not the orphanage. So we'll have to assume that we're going in the right direction. Incidentally, for those who think that I'm about to raid a place with innocent children, no. The orphanage is a bad place where drug runners and other vile sorts tend to hang out. I am not getting ready to do violent things to innocent little children. That would be a criminal mission. Alright, again, we are in my better quantum drive, so it's going to take us a little over 2 minutes to traverse Hurston to ArcCorps. I really wish I had restocked my stalkers, but I'm pretty sure you have to do that manually. Oh, you know what? Those were cross-sectionals. I thought it was the cross sectionals that were screwed up. Of course, they're also all proximity missiles. Oh, I do have some size 3s. We'll see if the size 3s do us any good. I have a feeling that the missiles are best going to be used if their shields are down. But the problem is, if their shields are down, I'm probably too close to do anything. I am not optimistic about the ERT in this thing, like at all. Primary goal is to get the bounties opened up here at our core. The ERT is basically going to be it's going to be a bonus. If I should happen to get it here, then yay me. But if I don't, that's okay too. My intent was to take him out with the Crusader Ares Ion, because I know that's capable of doing the job, although again, the shield changes. But we'll see. We'll see. But first, the primary goal, because I want to unlock all my bounty certs for all 4 worlds. Then we'll do the stretch goal. Alright, off to the orphanage. Again, not innocent place to raise children who have been orphaned and are being tended to by the state. No, no. That's just a cover. It does have the good news of being on the light side of the moon. So that means I don't have to worry about trying to fight in the dark. Now, if I'm really lucky, the target will be a weenie target that I can take out with no problems whatsoever, that I can just missile to death. That said, it's a bad sign when I'm already getting contacts. Or at least somebody got a contact on me. Then again, I'm flying a heavy fighter. Any invites from Techia over there? I don't know if I've gotten any appointments coming in. Let me see. I've had no appointment phone calls. Nobody wants to call me. I haven't even been able to find any of those derelict freighters. She must still be busted. That's certainly possible, although to be fair, we're still pretty early in this patch. She may be looking for something other than simply reputation numbers. Or it could, you know, just be me. Don't rule that possibility out. Okay, so far no target markers and we're under 7 kilometers out, so it's clearly not a really bad guy. Aegis Eclipse. Yeah, this should go pretty short. Of course I say that now. Trying to use a good trigger discipline here. Fire when I know I'm going to get some hits. He's taking damage, but he's still intact. Ooh, was a good hit. Ooh, there goes a wing. I winged him. In the very literal sense. Oh, and another... I am blowing part... Now he doesn't have any wings. You know, if this were a planet, I would just wait for him to fall and crash. Okay, I need to level myself out because I'm getting a little bit too close to the ground here. Alright. Let's see if I can get a bead on Mr. I don't have any wings and I'm barely flying. Hasta la vista, baby. I do that to the hammerhead sometimes. He might just crash on his own. Well, you know what? I'm hoping that'll be the case here because now we're going for our stretch goal. The Master Tracker License here at Lyria. Where are we? There we are. This is going to be spectacular. And he's going to be on the dark side, so you know this is going to be epic. And this is the second time I've been able to do a direct jump from point to point as opposed to having to go to an orbital marker, so I am pretty much certain at this point that that bug has been squashed, and I am extremely happy to see that. Maybe I'll be lucky and it'll just be a hurricane at the end of this. Yeah, and maybe I'll reincarnate into a Pico plushie. It's not on the dark side. Okay, well, that's the good news. The bad news is, well, it's still a hammerhead. Okay, we're going to go with exercise and futility and be sure to try to chuck some missiles at him. I'm not optimistic. If this hammerhead would crash on his own, I would be thrilled to pieces. I think, however, that the person that crashes on their own is more likely to be me. Let's get all the missiles, because if I fire at this guy, I want him to be hit by everybody. Oh, this is gonna get me killed. About 12.5 kilometers out and closing, which also means we're 2 kilometers out from being in range to pop them with missiles, but I'm going to hold off until I'm a lot close. Oh, nuts. Okay, let's kill his buddies first. I'll regret this later. I just can't have these guys peppering me when I'm trying to deal with that hammerhead. Oh, come on, hurry up and die. Yes, that's exactly how I want it to work. Oh, nuts, it's a hurricane. I was hoping that was another Vanguard. I knew I was being overly optimistic. The problem with the flying over Lyria like this is that I can barely see the pip on this guy. Oh, how is he still alive? the rate I'm going, I'm going to have to reload somewhere else. Okay, well, let's see. I've got 80 rounds on my gun. Well, 80 rounds on pretty much everything. I have a sneaking feeling that the Hammerhead battle is going to go very poorly. But on the bright side, we're still at a decent distance out, which means I can go back to my original strategy of throwing missiles at him first. Still, I remain pessimistic about my odds. I don't want to chuck these things until we're 5 kilometers out. I want to reduce the odds of those countermeasures doing any good for him at all. And yeah, I'm still getting closer, and closer, and closer. Oh, they're hits! Yes! And you know what? They did absolutely nothing! Oh, I am screwed. Yeah, no kidding, my ammo's low. Okay, that just leaves... Oh, whoa, whoa, nuts! Well, the good news is I didn't die from crashing. The bad news is neither did he. Firing my guns, but I think he's still surviving the hits. I'm going to have to go and rearm at this rate. Okay, let's kind of get ourselves in a better position. I'm a little worried by the fact that he's not shooting me. I realize that's an odd thing to be worried about, but... Oh, change. Oh, that was too close. Oh! Okay, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. I've just lost the one gun I had that worked. And you know what else? I am oh, he crashed! Excellent! I may die, but... but I did not die alone. Don't I have an eject button in here? I'm a dead man, but I got my license. Maybe if I kill my engines. Okay. Maybe if I can get myself out of atmosphere, maybe I can get myself to somewhere where I can repair and not die. Victory by default! Hey, I will take it. He was the one who decided to fly low, not me. Okay, step 2. Can I get to somewhere I can repair? Well... Sal 2. If I can get to Sal 2 and land, I might be able to fix the ship enough where I don't, you know, immediately die. You know, my ship actually looks in great shape considering that, oh, my ramp is busted. Oh. Well, maybe not, because it's just closed up now. I might have opened the exterior by accident when I was trying to figure things. If not, I can come rescue you. Well, you know what? There's every possibility that if I can't get myself down here, I will simply crash and die. So, you know. This is one of those situations which would go either way. Okay, we're going to be doing the really slow approach here, because going too fast may have those unintended consequences. Doing my best. I'm not even going to SCM speed here, so, you know. Oh, every time I increase my velocity a little bit, I find myself going a little more off course. But if I can get myself more or less going in a straight line here. Of course, there's also the possibility that the mining facility won't fix me too. That's always a possibility. But you know, better to try and fail. I mean, hey, look at how that ERT certification went. By all rights, that should have been a horrible death on my end. But somehow, even with my primary gun gone and all my ammo depleted, we still came out on top. Never pass up the victory. Never pass up the victory. We are under 10 kilometers away. I think there's on top of a mountain, that is. Hey, it still counts. The victory is still mine. Okay, I think we can turn off the quantum. I don't need to know how far away I am. I can see my destination now. And if we're going to start slowing it down a bit, I have a feeling I'm going to want to be at a complete stop before I start maneuvering over the landing pads, because right now maneuvering might be a little challenging. But I think we can make it. I think we're going to make it. After all the drama and trauma, all the fighting, all the conflicts. But we'll have gotten every one of the certifications I was hoping to get today. And even the ERT, which I didn't expect to get today. Okay. Slow. Let's be gentle here. Let's go to the exterior view so we can see just how bad this is going to end up being. Can we make it? Can we make it? And we have touched down. Will they fix my ship? Yes! Yes, they will fix my ship. I don't know if they'll put all my guns back on, but at least it should fly. And yeah, since I can, we'll refuel as well. Get the repairs. They put the guns back on. They put the ship back together again. 9,000 of damage. That's impressive. Yes, but you'll carefully note, my ship made it through the fight. The Hammerhead did not. And that feels like a triumphant point to wrap things up for the stream here. At this point, all my bounty hunter certifications are done except for the... No. I shouldn't even be thinking this. Let's do it. Let's get that last bounty certificate out of the way. Over at Calliope. Didn't think I had the Vanguard lineup? Well, Cap, it's like this. This is a loner. I'm not sure what it's a loner for, but it's a loner. Because I did get myself out of the Vanguard series. During the last expo, I decided that I wasn't really feeling the Vanguard series, and I still really don't. I still prefer, well, almost any other ship other than this. So, I basically went out of the Vanguard and went after the Ares Ion. And even with its current state, I feel a lot happier with the Ion than I do with the Vanguards. But it was available when my other ships were blown up and all that, and I figured, hey, why not? It may not be my favorite ship, but, you know, I do want to be assured that I can at least fly it when I need to. And again, I'm using all default weaponry here. I didn't yank out anything from another Vanguard series. I didn't replace the front gun or anything like that. The only thing I've replaced in here was the quantum drive because, well, tick-tock. And it's still going to be a little under 5 minutes just because it's arc core to microtech, which is a painful trip. I still have not been contacted by Mal Eckhart, and God only knows what'll trigger that. But I at least got rid of all the certifications except for this last one. And I really hope I am not mistaken. I'm banking a lot on this whole part about access to vehicles suitably outfitted for combat. I'm really hoping that's telling me that this is a space bounty, because if this is not a space bounty, this is going to go horribly wrong because I have no guns. Personal guns. It's required. Wonder if there will ever be a reason to use the crappy QT drives in game. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they all start as the crappy quantum drives when you start playing, when it goes into a live status. And you have to, you know, buy the good ones. Or maybe when you get the, with the whole insurance thing, it'll insure the ship but not the components, which means you'll get the crappy equipment. Am I wearing armor? No, I am not. I am wearing the basic beacon undersuit and horizon helmet. And I'm carrying no personal firearms whatsoever. In other words, if this turns out to be a ground mission, I'm screwed. But I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why. Because right now, my marker is giving me a specific individual with a specific last known position. And that is why I think this is going to be a space mission. May all my guesses be right. Because I know that Microtech Protection Services has ground missions. I don't think this is a ground mission. May all my guesses be right. Still, we're about 13 million kilometers out now and closing at a reasonably good clip. quantum fuel is going to be more than good enough. I'm restocked on all my weapons except for my Stalker 5 missiles. They had no problems restocking my other missiles, but God forbid they restock the Stalkers. Ours is not the reason why. For this particular bounty, it should be good enough. And speaking of good enough, we are about to arrive at Microtech. $300K, $200K, $100K. Now we'll just let the cooldown kick off while I'm lining up with Calliope. Cooldown ends in 7 seconds. And calibrating. And spooling. Now again, we are hoping to be on the light side, but it's perfectly possible that we will be on the dark side. Yeah. Looks like it's going to be the dark side. You cannot resist the power of the dark side. Neutralized target is up, which is kind of promising. Okay, we are on the here's hoping phase. If my target is a starship, I like the sound of that noise. That is indicating starship antagonism. Unfortunately, I'm 5 kilometers above the surface and dropping like a stone fast, so hopefully I'll start seeing targets soon. Preferably sooner than I see something like, you know, the ground, mountains, or other equally unpleasant... It is a target, and he's in an Aurora. Oh, this isn't even going to be a fair fight. Yeah, I realize that was just wrong of me, but we all have our little cue on this tone. We all have our little quirks. And I think we'll wrap things up by landing at Area 18. Gotta do some shopping. Maybe. Okay, maybe I need to get higher up in atmosphere. Well, no. Okay, where's an orbital marker? You know, I'm kind of amused by the... Oh wait, I'm trying to do Arc Core. I'm in Microtech. Duh, I'm heading to Babbage, not well, Tresor will be better actually. Forget Babbage. An ECN alert. Someone is being bad at one of the comsats. seems unlikely that it'll be a problem in Microtech, however. Microtech is usually way too far out of the way for people to bother with. Usually. Okay, now we'll just head to that really dark shape out there that indicates Port Tressler. After the server lag catches up, of course. Yeah, Quantum just likes it. Oh, for heaven's sake, stop turning back on! And stay off! Sheesh. Not getting any radar returns off of Tressler, which is mildly disturbing. Should be seeing an indicator. Yes, we're in Armistice, and that means any moment now ATC should be calling. Anytime now.
You are clear to launch.
Yeah, one of these days they will fix the sound files here. Hey, it's an alpha. You got to expect these things.
Proceed to assigned landing bay.
Oh. And I'm practically heading right there. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that there's an entire space station between me and the landing bay. Yeah. It's time to slow down, because maneuvering in here is going to be a little tight. Under the rotating ring, bring it back up. And I love it when a plan comes together. Mostly. And we are down. And that feels like a great place to wrap it up today. We managed to get every one of the bounty certifications nailed down. We got Crusader, we got Hurston, we got ArcCorps, we got Microtech. We got all the level certifications all the way up to ERTs. The only thing we don't have is Miles Eckhart, and well, Miles Eckhart is cranky. So I would say that the recertification rally has been a success. So, hopefully, next week we'll have something equally entertaining to go through. But for now, we're going to take a well-deserved rest. Join me again next week, Star Citizen, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Also, if you're the type to enjoy a different game, I stream Star Trek Online on Wednesday nights from 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I would like to thank everybody for watching, whether you were watching live or video on demand, either here on Twitch or on my YouTube channel. And I'm honestly surprised that YouTube hasn't started screaming at me for all the 2-hour plus videos I keep transferring from Twitch over to them. One of these days I expect to get an email from them. Again, thank you all for watching. Glad to see you or chat with you. And I hope you'll join me next time. Until next time, This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.